Okay. So hey
There
guys,
we go.
welcome back to the TradFi and Bitcoin Club. So today we have Borja. He's co-founder and CEO of Roxom and Roxom TV. So today he will introduce us about like how Roxom is building the Bitcoin-denominated capital markets. Yeah, over to you, Borja.
Alrighty. Well, thank you guys. Pleasure to be here. Um, I'm Borja. I've previously founded Lemon, one of the largest crypto exchanges and platforms in Latin America with over a couple million users. Now I'm building Roxom. Um, Basically, what we're doing at Roxom, guys, is our thesis. I will explain to you our thesis. The first, and I will tell you a little bit of history. The first large stock market in the world was the Amsterdam Exchange in Amsterdam back in the 17th century, the 1600s, when the Dutch guilder was the strongest currency of the world at the time. Then the UK and the British Empire grew and grew and grew, and eventually the pound became the strongest currency of the world, and the London Stock Exchange became the strongest exchange in the planet. And lastly, in World War II, with the Bretton Woods Agreement, the dollar became the currency of the world, um, um, and Wall Street became the strongest capital markets at the time. We believe that it is obvious and inevitable for Wall Street to fall second to somebody else. So, in the same way that Amsterdam fell second to London, and then London fell second to Wall Street, we understand that it's completely inevitable that Wall Street will fall second to somebody else. Um, and to understand who that somebody else can be, if we look at history, then we need to understand what the big next currency will be, because history shows us that the strongest capital markets have grown within the strongest currencies. So Amsterdam in the guilder, London Stock Exchange through the pound, and then Wall Street within the dollar. So what we understand is that Bitcoin is the strongest contender to become the top currency of the world, the most important currency of the world. Ergo, we understand that Bitcoin capital markets will be the markets that will outgrow Wall Street. So, based on this thesis, this is exactly what we're doing. We are building Bitcoin capital markets. In terms of product, we are talking about an exchange where you can trade and invest in stocks, bonds, commodities, ETFs, cryptocurrencies, FX, really anything against Bitcoin. So, Apple Bitcoin, MicroStrategy Bitcoin. Now we're going to be focusing on Bitcoin treasury companies. So Metaplanet Bitcoin, Semler Scientific Bitcoin, Smarter Web Company Bitcoin, and so on. So all of that for stocks. Then we have commodities, gold Bitcoin, oil Bitcoin, metals, cobalt, lithium, and just other commodities, corn, soy, um, any sort of wheat, any sort of commodity. Then we have ETFs and bonds. So like any Bitcoin ETF, any sort of ETF, really, bonds, US Treasuries, corporate bonds, sovereign bonds, crypto markets, Solana Bitcoin, Ethereum Bitcoin, so on and so forth. And then we have FX, because for us Bitcoin is a currency. So for us the FX market is composed of Bitcoin GBP, Bitcoin USD, Bitcoin Indian rupees, Bitcoin Argentine pesos, Bitcoin whatever else. And the markets that we are creating them in spot, in derivatives, and then we're looking to build options as well for all of these assets. Well, this is a little bit of what we're doing. This is a big Bitcoin thesis. We're heavily Bitcoin thesis based. We intend to go public in our own exchange once we have the licenses that we need for that. Because right now we're working on secondary markets, which means that we're going to be working on with assets that already exist. But we are transitioning into primary markets. It will take us at least 1 year more to get there. But once that we are doing primary markets, essentially what it means is that we are going to be able to allow companies to do IPOs and debt issuance publicly on Roxom. So if any company wants to do an IPO in the same way that they can go to the New York Stock Exchange, they will be able to come to Roxom and do an IPO in Bitcoin, raising Bitcoin, being quoted and traded in Bitcoin natively and so on, which is great. We're seeing now a big mania with the Bitcoin treasury company. So if we had the license already, it would be much easier and much better. But we're going to be there next year. We're going to be the first IPO in Roxom. And also the idea is, for people to start understanding what it means to have to be a stockholder of a company that is paying dividends in Bitcoin and that is being quoted in Bitcoin and so on. And even though we are creating this already for the existing companies that I mentioned previously, once that we have the Roxom, our own primary markets, this will be happening on a real, it's not going to be us who are making things happen in the back end. It's the market is going to be structured in such a way where everything is natively happening in Bitcoin, which is great and is beautiful. And that's a little bit of what we're doing, and would love to discuss with you all on any questions, doubts, anything you may have.
Oh, great, Borja. Like you were talking about IPO in Bitcoin. So, are you looking to what will be the country whose licenses you are seeking? Like, is it US or is it Argentina or like what?
Yeah, I know it's the UAE. Um,
UAE,
our
great.
our exchange license, like for IPOs and so on, is in the UAE. We currently have a crypto license in El Salvador, and a broker dealer license in Seychelles.
Yeah.
But our exchange license, not crypto exchange, but an actual exchange for IPOs and so on, will be in the UAE.
Okay. And can you give can you share the look of our platform Roxom with the guys here? Like
Yeah, of
they can have a
course.
better, yeah.
Let me see. Okay, here, share screen. Um, can you see my screen right now?
Yes.
Uh, wait.
It's
Okay.
loading, but hopefully.
I was just working on a press release that we were asked for. So
Oh, oh.
can you see my screen? Yeah, right.
You are sharing the Discord screen.
Discord. We can see the Discord.
Wait. Uh, add window. Okay. Now you can, right?
Yeah, we can see it.
Yes. Yes.
Perfect. So, guys, this is basically it. So our innovation is like we're not coming here to innovate um, on a platform level. Let's say we don't necessarily want to create like a whole new platform or everything. So what you will see here is something that you're very used to, which is very familiar. It's basically like any other exchange. I will go to MSTR right now just to see a stock familiar with us. But the beauty of what we're doing is that everything is in Bitcoin. And now maybe we can go a little bit deeper into why in Bitcoin. Well, Bitcoin is the hardest to trade and the best hurdle rate unit of account that exists right now. And I will give you an example in Argentina. In Argentina, 30 years ago, you had all the people who thought and lived in pesos, right? Well, we had Argentine pesos, and okay, this is what we have, blah blah blah. And the beauty and the big problem, actually, not the beauty, was that if you thought in pesos and lived in pesos and so on, sorry, I will go here. You would actually lose purchasing power because essentially what is going on is that every time that the peso would lose value, let's say every time that the peso would would lose value, everybody, the general population, would lose purchasing power. So what started happening when so many, you can still see my charts, right? You're muted, Dion.
Yes.
Okay, perfect. So essentially, what started happening in Argentina was that people, everybody makes money in Argentine pesos, but people started saving and thinking in dollars because it didn't make any sense at all to think and save in Argentine pesos. Well, because every single month you had less and less money. So people, even though they are making money in pesos, they decided to, you know what? My unit of account, my hurdle rate will be dollars because if I think in dollars and I'm always earning more dollars or measuring my investments in dollars and so on, it will be more beneficial for me. Because I'll just give you an example. In Argentine pesos, if the Argentine peso is getting debased, let's say, so $1 is 100 pesos and then suddenly $1 is 1,000 pesos, the chart of any stock would look like it's going up in pesos because it's worth more and more pesos of any stock listed in the US, right? But the truth is that the chart that your money is not going up, and even worse, is just maintaining. But even worse, if you have an Argentine stock which doesn't increase in price because of the debasement of the currency, then you're essentially like getting wiped out. Like your purchasing power is being lost big time. So the same thing is happening with Bitcoin and the dollar. If you think about each one of you, think about how much cash you had in your bank account 5 years ago, and think about how many Bitcoins that was. And think about how much cash you have today. If it's more than 5 years ago, amazing. And if it's less, then let's just use the number of 5 years ago. Think about how many Bitcoins your current assets are worth. So for everybody, or mostly everybody, if you didn't have it all in Bitcoin, you now have less Bitcoins than before. Your portfolio is worth less Bitcoins than before. So basically, if Bitcoin is your currency, is your unit of account, like it's ours, you're basically more poor now. In Bitcoin terms, you're more poor. I'm inventing 10 Bitcoins, now you're worth half a Bitcoin. You're more poor. So the thing is that if you don't think in Bitcoin, if Bitcoin is not your hurdle rate, if you don't understand the markets in Bitcoin, if you don't measure things in Bitcoin, if you don't understand prices of things in Bitcoin, we believe you will be more and more and more poor every single year. Because if you don't want to become more poor, in this Bitcoin world in which we live in, because we live in a Bitcoin world, and this is the world we live in a Bitcoin world where all we want is more Bitcoin. I wake up and I want more Bitcoin than yesterday. I want to have more Bitcoin than yesterday and less Bitcoin than tomorrow. And this is what I'm thinking. But to achieve this goal, I need to understand the world through a Bitcoin lens. I need to understand how things behave in Bitcoin prices so I can do my investments. And in the same way, I'm sure that somebody here must be trading Solana BTC or ETH BTC. ETH BTC is the most traded Bitcoin pair after Bitcoin USD. And if you're trading ETH BTC, is because you believe that at some point it's good to long Ethereum because it's gonna yield you more Bitcoins, or maybe it's good to short Ethereum because it's also gonna yield you more Bitcoin, like whatever. But the point is that this in crypto already exists. But not enough, and many people are becoming more and more poor in Bitcoin. So this is exactly what this platform is made for, so that everybody can put the Bitcoin lens to all the assets and understand when it's good or bad to buy long or short or whatever, a stock, a commodity, whatever. And if you see here, for example, MicroStrategy, which is very interesting, MicroStrategy in the last from 2024, look at this. This is insane. So from January 24 to today, it has made a 200% in Bitcoin. So if a hedge fund, for example, or you guys invested whatever amount of Bitcoin, let's say a hedge fund invested 10 Bitcoins, 100 Bitcoins, 1,000 Bitcoins, they would now have triple the money. So they would have 3,000 Bitcoins, 300 Bitcoins, 30 Bitcoins, you would have tripled your Bitcoin. So MicroStrategy in the last 2 years, let's say, or year and a half, has been an amazing Bitcoin investment. You would have made a lot of money. But then let's look at other examples. So Apple has been going up in the last couple of years, right? Has been if actually we go to if we go to Apple's chart, we will see that this is a bullish stock. Like, so similar to the chart we just saw. Let me take out some indicators. Okay. So this is January 24, and even though it's not as not as good, it's still up. And usually, I'm gonna do something even better, which is the long term. So if we look at, and the more long term we look at this, the higher the difference is gonna be. Like, right? So Apple in the last 4 years, 5 years has been going up. But actually, if we look at this in Roxom, it's very different. I'm gonna leave the daily chart. And okay, wait. Let me put the weekly so we get more candles. So this is the same time frame. So here, 2020. So this is what's been going on with Apple in Bitcoin, guys. Apple in Bitcoin, even though in real life, like in the dollar world, has been going up, Apple in Bitcoin is going down big time. So this is Apple in Bitcoin. We're down 85%. So if a hedge fund, differently from MicroStrategy, invested 1,000 Bitcoins, he would only be worth 200 Bitcoins now. Whereas in MicroStrategy, let's put the same time horizon. We got a weird order here for a very big price. I don't know why is that. Never mind. This is our demo platform, by the way, if you guys want to try it out. Let's go to 2020, like we were here. So if we start here, okay, here. Okay, so here it was higher, but if we take it like here to July 20, again, 257%, and to the all-time high, there is to the all-time high of MicroStrategy, 450 and 40%, which is huge. There is also another interesting stock, the only traditionally fiat stock that I've seen that actually has been performing better than Bitcoin is NVIDIA. NVIDIA is one of those outliers where, in general terms, it's going down also. But if we take look at this, if we start from 21, for example, or 2020. Let's be good to NVIDIA and take the more profitable range. 21 to today, this is a 500%, guys. 500% in Bitcoin. This is insane. So also one of the key learnings that we have by building Roxom is I'm the most Bitcoiner guy you like. I'm all in Bitcoin. But it's not necessarily good to have Bitcoin. And this is something important. Like I'm not that kind of person which is huddled to the death and so on. Like I believe that smart Bitcoin holders and investors will find opportunities that will perform better than Bitcoin. I mean, at the end of the day, and this is an example, an analogy that I found the other day, which for me was very useful. People nowadays are very happy buying Bitcoin, which is great. But buying Bitcoin is exactly the same as an Argentine person buying dollars. It's like, okay, you got rid of the shitty currency, but that's nothing. Like now your dollars need to be put at work. Now your dollars need to yield you interest. Your dollars need to be worth. Just escaping out of the weak debasing currency is not enough. And a thesis I have is that, for example, all of these Bitcoin treasury companies, they are buying Bitcoin. So they are getting rid of the dollar and they are buying Bitcoin. Hey, amazing. But the next step will be for these companies to put the Bitcoin at work. Because just having Bitcoin doing absolutely nothing is exactly the same as being an Argentine and having dollars doing absolutely nothing. It makes absolutely no sense. Because once you transition into a truly Bitcoin mindset, and once you understand should be your unit of account, because if your unit of account is Bitcoin and you get good Bitcoin returns, and let's say your Bitcoin portfolio is growing, it's not stable at whatever amount. Let's say that you have Bitcoin. You don't want your Bitcoin to always be one. You don't want to have one Bitcoin always. You want to make sure that your Bitcoin is growing, right? And to make your Bitcoin grow, there is no get rich quick scheme or whatever. It's just being a smart investor. In the same way that
Borja,
Warren Buffett, yes,
hey,
sorry.
Borja, can you zoom in your screen, because it will be easier for us to like see the numbers. Maybe a little bit of zoom.
Okay, wait.
Yeah, that works.
Is that better?
Awesome. Yeah, that's better.
Um, so really, like again, Warren Buffett didn't create Berkshire and Hathaway to raise dollars and say, "I'm gonna hold my dollars. You know, like, I'm just gonna have dollars here in Berkshire Hathaway, and this is it." Warren Buffett created Berkshire and Hathaway to invest in companies that would bring amazing returns in dollars, so that investors would get dollar returns. And there is no difference with Bitcoin. We understand. Bitcoin, the Bitcoin industry, the Bitcoin markets, the Bitcoin sector is still growing, and we envision that the next wave of amazing people, amazing investors, amazing funds, and so on are Bitcoin-denominated, or people or hedge funds and funds that use Bitcoin as a unit of account. And I have big questions like, who is going to be the Warren Buffett of Bitcoin? Like, who is this person who is going to give you a 10, 20% yearly return on your Bitcoins by doing the right investments, by investing in NVIDIA or MicroStrategy, or the new Bitcoin treasury companies, or buying ETH BTC at a very low price and getting a real increase, or shorting ETH BTC, or shorting the S&P 500 against Bitcoin? Like, there is a big question, because Bitcoin is still early, but now this is developing because we have the Bitcoin treasury companies, because we have already there are nascent Bitcoin-denominated funds. So it's basically funds that the yields and the returns they bring are in Bitcoin, right? So now all of this is very nascent and is growing and so on. But these are the kind of questions that we are asking. Hey, who's going to be Bitcoin's Warren Buffett? Like this person that, again, Warren Buffett, why is Warren Buffett known for? What is he known for? Buffett is known for bringing a stable and solid, roughly 20% yearly returns to his investors. So our question is, who is going to be the Warren Buffett of the Bitcoin world? Which means that you need to be a very good investor that can get, if you want to match Warren Buffett in Bitcoin, you need to get 20% um, um, yearly returns, CAGR, to your investors in Bitcoin. It's not impossible. It's very possible. I mean, only NVIDIA, for example, if you invested in, let's see here the date, if you invested in NVIDIA in March 8th of 2021, you would have given your Bitcoin portfolio a 500% increase. So you would have 6x your Bitcoins. So in the last 4 years, was it better to have Bitcoin in cash or was it better to have NVIDIA? Well, the truth is, it was better to have NVIDIA, guys. And it's completely fine. Like, that's why for us, it's not about being for example, a Bitcoin treasury company where all you hold is Bitcoin. But for us, the real thing is for Bitcoin to be your unit of account and for Bitcoin to be the way of how you measure your wealth and your net worth and your treasury and so on. Because, for example, MicroStrategy has been buying Bitcoin ever since 2020. But the truth is, if he had used Bitcoin as a unit of account, and if all the money he invested in Bitcoin, he had invested it in NVIDIA, his portfolio would be worth 6x what he has now. So essentially, MicroStrategy holds 600,000 Bitcoins. Had he invested in NVIDIA because he was looking at the trade from a Bitcoin perspective, he would have his portfolio would be worth right now 3.6 million Bitcoins. So essentially, let's say for a moment that there was no tax, because there is tax, but essentially this means that if there was no tax, he would be able to convert all of his investment in NVIDIA for 3.6 million Bitcoins. And tax is 30%. So if we take that out, 3.6 million, 30% is like, let's say 1 million Bitcoins. It would still be worth, his portfolio would still be worth 2.6 million Bitcoins. However, Michael Saylor today has only 600,000 Bitcoins. So these are the kind of things that we are already seeing. Hey, as a true Bitcoiner, as a person that all I care about is having more Bitcoins today than yesterday and less Bitcoins today than tomorrow, as a person that all I care about is accumulating Bitcoin, the trade of the last couple of years was not holding Bitcoin, man. It was buying fucking NVIDIA. And this is the crazy thing of what we're building, is that it crashes with these dogmas of like, hodl Bitcoin to the moon. Ooh. No, dude, like, for the sake of accumulating more Bitcoin, plenty of times it's better to have something else that is not necessarily Bitcoin. And well, this is the fascinating part of this story, right? Because then it is through this lens and through what we're doing, we understand that then you actually become a true Bitcoin investor, which is, we call a Bitcoin investor a person who is putting his Bitcoins to work and is trying to find good investments in Bitcoin terms, right? And this is the deal, and this is what we see that is coming up. I am investing, for example, in all of these Bitcoin treasury companies, but just because I think that in this moment in time, they are bringing amazing Bitcoin returns, man. These are companies that are just, if you look at them in Bitcoin, boom, up and to the right, up and to the right, up and to the right, is insane. So I'm just doing it because I'm accumulating Bitcoin. And hopefully soon, once we launch, we're launching with four. So our roadmap is we're launching derivatives in a couple of weeks, and after derivatives, we're launching Bitcoin treasuries. We're doing a special campaign for treasuries, though, on spot, not on derivatives. But for derivatives, we are launching four contracts: S&P 500 Bitcoin, Gold Bitcoin, Nasdaq Bitcoin, and Oil Bitcoin. Well, I'm gonna be shorting the S&P, man, because I'm short the S&P against Bitcoin. And one of the next products that we want to work on is on the housing market against Bitcoin. So if anybody here has seen the Big Short, and if anybody here has ever seen any of these charts where the housing market is going like on Bitcoin, it's just going down because houses were worth 500 Bitcoins and now they're worth like 3 Bitcoins. So the housing market is going down badly against Bitcoin. So we are creating a pair which is a housing market against Bitcoin. And I'm going to be shorting that as well because like clearly the housing market is going down against Bitcoin. So all what Roxom is about enabling these opportunities and enabling these lens and for the broader market to start understanding, hey, I should stop using the dollar as the unit of account because I'm being deceived. You buy Apple stock and you believe it's going up. And in Bitcoin, you're getting more poor, man. Do not buy Apple stock. Do not buy it. Like I'm waiting for us to have Apple stock on margin in Roxom so I can short it because I'm gonna short that motherfucker. This thing is going down. So Roxom is about enabling all of this, enabling the Bitcoin lens so that everybody can start understanding the markets and understanding assets and understanding the economy in Bitcoin. And then choose your own adventure. Buy Nvidia or not, short Apple or not, buy whatever. But it's just that you are able to understand what you're doing with the right lens. Do not get deceived because if you buy Apple and you see it going up and you say, oh, I'm doing great. No, man, you're losing Bitcoin. You invested 1 Bitcoin worth of Apple and now you're worth 0.9 Bitcoins. You just lost 10% in Bitcoin. That is a terrible investment. And I'm up 3% in dollars, man. This is great. No, it's not. You're down. So yeah, this is a little bit what's going on.
Hi, Borja, this is Finanj. Thank you for this. Can you hear me?
Yes, Finanj. Nice to meet you. I can hear you.
Okay. So I like your thesis. It's nice. It makes sense. I think also what also makes sense is we are all stuck. We all agree to a large extent that Bitcoin is a savings technology. But even in this world where you save in Bitcoin, there will be an investment opportunity, right? Which are basically opportunities which would beat savings itself or beat money itself. There won't be many winners. There'll be few. Nvidia, like you pointed out, was still one of them. I don't know. Maybe it begs me to ask: were they accruing all the value because of the GPU mining that was happening? Maybe that could be one of the reasons. So there are people who can extract a alpha or at least a beta on Bitcoin performance itself, right? But few people alpha, a large majority can also get a beta. You know how you can get leverage on Bitcoin. That's not a thing, and I think it makes everybody look into, like, specifically the maxis, look at something beyond Bitcoin as an investment option. And I think it also, in some sense, exposes quite well. I mean, what I also liked about it was actually we are all hung up in this, right? Function of money, medium of exchange, store of value, medium of exchange, unit of account, right? Somehow a large, vast majority, we are all alluding to the fact that it is achieving purpose or it has already achieved the purpose of store of value. Bitcoin captured 3 trillion, 2 trillion in value worldwide. It has made a good amount of gain for a lot of us who have held on for a long time. People are often upset that it's not performing as well as how well it is and all that stuff. Ideas are mixed, but nobody is even thinking about it being used as a unit of exchange, a unit of account, right? This, people are somehow thinking you have to go past 2 to 3 don't think that has to be the case, at least in capital market terms. It makes sense, if any investor to start looking at whether he's able to beat a savings technology.
Yeah. Borja, you are on mute.
Sorry. So what would the question be, Finay? Exactly.
I just wanted to mention if these are some things I liked about it specifically on what you're looking to address. There is no question out there. These are thoughts that ran through my mind, and I thought maybe I could just articulate it in my way, and maybe others get another way of looking at it. I don't know if you agree with everything I mentioned. Maybe some of those things
Yeah.
is not how you are looking
Yeah.
at it.
No, it's definitely interesting, Finay. As you said, medium of exchange, unit of account, acceptance. This is Bitcoin's natural step forward as the unit of account. And but why is that? And then again, I will go back to Argentina. The peso as a unit of account was so harmful for the population. It was so harmful for you and detrimental if you used the peso as a unit of account, because essentially you were getting poorer every single day with the inflation and the debasement of the currency, that people had to migrate into using the dollar as a unit of account. And the same thing happened in many, many countries in the world, Venezuela, countries in Africa, and so on. So the thing is that Bitcoin had the marketing power of the United States of America. So, right? So, plenty of people and governments across the world adopted the dollar as a unit of account. Ecuador has dollars in their country. El Salvador has dollars, and now Bitcoin as their currency. Plenty of countries around the world have the dollars as their currency. Even in Argentina, Milei said that he would dollarize the economy. He eventually, then he didn't, but it's still in their plans. So here the point is, the entire world, for example, regarding the dollar, started using the dollar as unit of account. And we see that this is a natural step forward for Bitcoin. Increasingly, every single year, more and more and more people are using Bitcoin as their unit of account. And I think that they're very smart to do so. Because again, it's the example I gave you when we started the call. Think about, let's take the money you have right now in your bank account. It's very easy. How much Bitcoin was at 4 years ago? How much Bitcoin is it now? You lost. Everybody here lost. I lost. We all lost, guys. We are all more poor in Bitcoin than we were a couple of years ago. And why is that? Because Bitcoin wasn't our unit of account. We were not thinking about how could we get more Bitcoins. We were thinking about how can we get more dollars. And that is a mistake. We were the Argentines in Argentina a couple of years ago thinking, how can we get more pesos, instead of asking ourselves, how can we get more dollars? Because if you're thinking about how can you get more pesos, you're going to be in extreme poverty in a couple of years, man. It doesn't matter how many more pesos you have. It's a very shitty currency. You don't want more pesos, man. You want to get rid of your pesos as soon as possible. The peso is not a good unit of account. So right now, the entire world is a big Argentina, which is transitioning. That's what we see. Now, the broader population of the world, it's like Argentines. Is all of these people suddenly starting to say, man, I cannot use that as my unit of account anymore. Like, having the dollar is like having the Argentine peso 30 years ago. This is getting debased completely. Like, why would I have the dollar as my unit of account? A dollar that today has a 4 to 7% inflation a year. Insane. It's insane. Actually, the interest rates are 4.5%. This means that the government is printing at a 4.5% a year speed, and the inflation will always be, at least long term, at least the interest rates. Like the interest rates are the floor of inflation because it's the creation of new money. So inflation is inevitably today sitting at 4.5%. And even if today the numbers are lower, it will still catch up because inflation always catches up. I'm from Argentina and I know this very well. This is like, you will never, you cannot escape the consequences of printing money. Eventually they come. And why would it make sense to think about your wealth and use a unit of account, a currency that is being debased at a 4.5% per annum rhythm? Like why? Um, eh, eh, so to your point, Finen, this is why we see this as a natural step forward for Bitcoin, because the time for Bitcoin acting as a unit of account and for people to actually start understanding global prices and the global and the broader economy in Bitcoin, we believe has come. Like it is moment for the world to say, dude, you know what? I'm not gonna measure any things anymore. I'm not gonna look at USD charts anymore. I'm gonna look at the Bitcoin charts because I don't want to be the Argentine who kept on looking at the Argentine peso charts, thinking that he was making money and he was becoming poorer every single day. So if you want to remain, if for people, if they want to remain poor, continue thinking that because you have more dollars, you're doing well. Whatever. We understand that you will make it if you are thinking about how to accumulate more Bitcoin and how to achieve Bitcoin returns to your portfolio rather than achieving dollar returns. That's just what we see. And to your point, 100%, this is part of natural of Bitcoin's natural evolution. If Bitcoin is truly the strongest currency that the world has ever seen, Bitcoin has to become a unit of account. Bitcoin has to develop its own capital markets. So all of what we're doing, we're just working to contribute our small grain of salt, our small grain of sand to this huge desert that Bitcoin is. We're just doing our part so that Bitcoin has its own capital markets. And this is a role that we're playing for Bitcoin.
Borja, okay, Saurabh, go
Saurabh
on.
here. Yeah, Saurabh here. I wanted to do a follow-up question on the bubble that's brewing in the Bitcoin treasury space. And like, I mean, some of it could be legitimate. Some of the companies do really have a strong balance sheet and they can weather the downturn. Some of them are getting traded at multiples of their Bitcoin NAV, and they do not really have a lot of cash flow, regular cash flow, business income to weather a downturn. And that could potentially lead to like bad blood in a bad time. For example, something bad happens, people will start writing off, this whole space. Uh, my question to you is, do you also sort of track and see what are the metrics that are strong indicators for what companies are going to do well or potentially can do well, and you think there is a merit in educating customers about it? That you know what, do not blindly invest. These are metrics that you should look at, and then you should go out on like evaluating the companies, or you do not want to do the work. You just want to focus on enabling users to use Bitcoin to buy whatever company they want to buy, and let other players do the work of education and disseminating the knowledge of evaluating the right company.
Great question, Saurabh. Thank you. I'll be completely honest with you. Number one, to your last question, we're going to be working on as much alpha research and insights and information as possible. So, to your point, for us, it's not only about becoming enablers and to allow anybody from all over the world, including India, Middle East, Asia, Africa, Europe, Latin America, all over the world to invest in these Bitcoin treasury stocks and then our equities as well, but to also provide you with the best we can insight, analysis, research, and so on. I am very short-term bullish on Bitcoin treasuries. I am mid to long-term bearish and contrarian to the Bitcoin treasury companies. But for me, it's opportunity. I am 100% convinced that in 12 to 18 months, all of these Bitcoin treasury companies will trade at a discount. So the NAV multiples will be at a discount. I'm 100% sure. So essentially, we will be able to buy Bitcoin at a discount, which is a great Bitcoin trade because, hey, this thing is worth 0.9 Bitcoins and the underlying has 1 Bitcoin. So I'm getting a 10% Bitcoin return, which is amazing. And I'm going to be a big buyer then. I'm a big buyer now also, but because now we are in the middle of the mania, right? I think that this will last a couple more months, right? Of this a storm of Bitcoin treasury companies popping out and doing these massive gains. Yesterday, I bought this new Canadian company, LWTD, made 100% in one day. It's just like, wow. Yeah, Bitcoin did a 5% yesterday. So essentially, I did a 95% returns on Bitcoin, which is great. But I don't see this working I mean, I think it's going to work for the next 6 to 12 months. I think that then it's going to pop. Absolutely. It's going to be a mess. I'm going to be out of the market by then. I'm going to, like, right now, I'm looking for this, like, multiple exit and in and out. Like, I mean, in and out, super bullish short term because, like, the thing is just insane. But then again, being rational, this thing is going to trade at a discount. And that is going to be our second opportunity. So what I see is we have an opportunity now to get in the mania and ride the way up. Looking to exit, like have a plan and looking to exit at some point. And then I will short many of these stocks as well, personally. And then once they trade at a discount, because everything that goes up so fast goes down very fast as well. And anything that I see that is trading at 16, 17, 18 MNAV multiples, that will go definitely to a discount, man. They will trade at 0.5, 0.4 even, I believe, because it's so aggressive, the multiple right now. It's so volatile. That volatility is both ways, man. If you're 20x MNAV multiple, man, I mean, you're going to get fucked, man, when these things go down. You're going to trade like a 0.5. I mean, you're going to have 1 Bitcoin and you're going to be worth half a Bitcoin per share, let's say. Which is going to be an amazing investment opportunity for us. You know, like, hey, I can buy 2 Bitcoins for the price of 1. Like, this is a bargain. So to your question, we'll provide all of this research, all of this insight. We will also be gonna be starting soon a show on Roxom TV to talk about all of the Bitcoin treasury stocks and do more fundamental analysis and technical analysis on everything else is going on. And I'm very contrarian and I'm open. And I tell you, yeah, I'm in right now because I see the gains. I'm going to be out in a couple of months. And then I'm going to be in again when they are trading at a discount. And I just believe that this is great because it's a new market. It's growing. This is something I was writing down not long ago. We now officially have the first, like, Bitcoin markets are a reality irregardless of Roxom because we have Bitcoin stocks. Like, we're living a historical moment. We officially have Bitcoin stocks. Like, Bitcoin officially has Bitcoin stocks, companies that are Bitcoin companies, and they are Bitcoin stocks. So this is equivalent to the New York Stock Exchange having its own US stocks, like actually American companies going public in an American exchange. And here we have Bitcoin companies. They are not American. They are not whatever, they are Bitcoin companies, and they are all doing the same. And they are officially Bitcoin stocks. So this is amazing for Bitcoin, even though it will pop and it will be bad. I believe that this is amazing. It starts
Just, just
a macro long term. Yeah.
Just one follow-up question there, Borja. Like in your opinion, who are these market participants who have got the most interest or enthusiasm about this? Are these retail investors? Are these HNIs? Are these pension funds? Because they can't invest into Bitcoin, so they are trading between multiple Bitcoin treasury companies. Who have got the most reasons to be excited about investing into Bitcoin treasury companies more than investing, flipping between these Bitcoin treasury companies, in your opinion?
Well, yeah, there is something interesting because all of these companies right now are starting off with very small market caps, differently from crypto, where we are seeing ICOs of hundreds, like, hey, new token, Bloom, $1 billion market cap. In TradFi markets, that is not possible. So the beauty of what we're seeing is that we're seeing, like, honestly, it's more similar to meme tokens, where we're seeing these stocks starting off with $5-10 million market cap. The Smarter Web company was $2 million market cap. I've been following Smarter Web and I didn't invest. I want to kill myself, man. I saw Smarter Web's company's IPO, $2 million market cap. It's $1 billion now. I would have had 500x. I'm like destroyed that I didn't invest. It doesn't matter. It's completely fine. But what I mean with this is that I know many participants in the industry also, and I would say is mainly VC funds, mainly institutional funds providing the liquidity for the bonds and so on. And then it's the crypto insiders, the crypto market, retail, non-retail, because crypto has this particularity where retail is also very rich. Like you have the James Wynn. Is James Wynn retail or institutional? Man, well, this guy started with $200, and then he was doing 4 years later. He was with a $1 billion position on Hyperliquid. So this is what crypto has. Crypto has plenty and plenty of people that started off with nothing, and now they are worth millions or hundreds of millions of dollars. So I wouldn't say retail or institutional for the cryptos. I would say you have the VC funds, you have the institutional funds providing the capital for who are buying the bonds, the at the money issuances and so on, and then you have the crypto market, the crypto people, again with $100 or $50 million investing in all of this. So I would say it's a combination. The good thing is that the TradFi funds are providing liquidity still for all of these at the money offerings from Strategy, bond issuances, and so on. Metaplanet in Japan is being very, very successful. The warning sign will be when raising capital for these companies starts to get hard. That's when I'm out, personally. As soon as companies are not raising as much as they would like, I think that is a signal to get out. Until then, as long as we see all of these companies buying 100 BTC every single day, every single week, we are cruising. Once it stops, it means that the institutional liquidity from the TradFi world and all of these institutions that are providing at the money, capital, bond, and so on, that's over. And that is the exit signal, I believe. This is not financial advice.
Got it. Thanks so much, Borja.
Borja, I have a question. I'm Bala.
Hey, Bala.
Yeah, as I understand, the trade settlement is not made in BTC. If that's what I understand. Correct me if I am wrong. If so, is there future plans for the trade to be settled in BTC itself?
The trades are settled in Bitcoin, but it's just that we are making. I mean, this is very technical, but once we kick off with Roxom, essentially there will be no liquidity. I mean, there will be market makers and so on, but let's imagine for a second that there is no liquidity. So if you come and say, hey, I want to buy 1,000 shares of MicroStrategy, what we will do is we will post that order in the New York Stock Exchange. As we build up liquidity within our user base, your buy order will be matched against a sell order within Roxom. So once I would say that the experience is always going to be the same because you're going to get in and out of any asset that you invest in Bitcoin. So that doesn't change. What does change is the efficiency in the backend. In the beginning, again, we will be routing. If there is no, if you buy 1,000, if you send an order for 1,000 stocks of MicroStrategy and we have nobody who is selling them in Roxom, we will route that to the New York Stock Exchange. For you, it's still settled in Bitcoin, but for us, it's not because we have to convert Bitcoin to dollars and just settle with a NICE and so on. But for you, it doesn't change anything. It will be much better and much more efficient for the whole market in general once that you post a buy order and that is matched with a sell order in Roxom as well, and that is just Bitcoin flowing all the way. No actual interaction with the fiat world whatsoever.
Got it. Thank you.
Yeah. You're muted.
Hey Borja. Hey Borja, this is Vaishak
Yes.
here. Just to add to that, I'm quite curious on options trading on your platform. So let's say I want to short a currency or short a stock against Bitcoin. I think that would be as we can imagine, shorting something else against Bitcoin is going to be quite common. What if there are not many short sellers for that particular trade? Do you also have some rerouting mechanism and during that time, or if there are no short sellers, that's it. That's bad luck for you. You're gonna have to wait.
That's a funny thing, right? That everybody, as you say, everybody will want to short most of all assets because for us, it feels like free money, right? If you allow me to short the S&P or the housing market against Bitcoin, I'm saying, man,
Right.
why are you giving me free money? The beautiful thing of this is that we've managed to partner up with several market makers so that you can always short. And the truth is that this is being possible not because they are giving away free money, but because they are hedging themselves. So basically, if you are short, our market makers will provide you with a matching long. But on the other end, they're also doing like a synthetic short, let's say, to hedge their position. So you get the liquidity for the trade, and they are hedged, so they don't have any directional risk. So this is how it's going to work, and this is how we've managed to organize things so that we can all short as much as we want without any issues.
Okay, that's great. That's great. Yeah, that sounds quite exciting in a way. I have another question if you have time. So let's say I'm somebody who has access to both the exchanges, the one that's denominated in US dollars and also Roxanne. Although it gives the Roxanne gives you a proper perspective from the Bitcoin lens and so on and so forth. But let's say I'm some sort of a seasonal trader who knows his craft reasonably well. And what I am looking at is I have a large number of trading volumes. And what I'd be curious to know is what would be the exchange rate between my traditional dollars if I let's say straight away invest them in my traditional exchange versus let's say I come to Roxam, convert it into BTC, then invest it from there on. So, is there any advantage in terms of exchange rates per se?
Yeah. Honestly, we don't want to make money out of exchange rates. So make sure that you have the best execution as possible, Lishok. So I think it's going to be much better than converting uh, your bitcoins to fiat and then depositing that fiat into the broker and so on. It's going to be much better. Also, especially because you're not going to have any wiring fees or whatever fee. And also, one of the things that we're going to enable as fast as we can is the deposit of stablecoins, so that you can buy directly the stocks. They still, the unit of account is Bitcoin, and still the charts are in Bitcoin, but you're going to be able to directly buy them with stable coins. And for that, there will be no additional fees than the exchange fees, the traditional exchange fees as an exchange, not as an FX change, let's say. So even if you, the price is going to be the same, like it's going to be the same if you, or practically the same if you buy Apple with Bitcoin or with stable coins, but for the good reasons, because there is not going to be any FX markup or whatever, because I want to bring liquidity, not to scare liquidity, you know?
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. Yeah. Thank you. Thanks for that.
Pleasure.
Borja, one follow-up question that I had was like crypto had this DEX movement. I know like DEX was possible because these were unregistered securities, but in case of Bitcoin treasury market, there is no possibility for anyone to make any gains from non-KYC Bitcoins, right? Like if someone wants to participate in this upside, they will have to come out in the clean and either set up a Bitcoin treasury company with the Bitcoin that they have, or like use something like Roxom to buy Bitcoin treasury company by again coming out and doing KYC. Is that true, or is there any possibility in future of some instruments coming in which allow non-KYC Bitcoin to also participate in this Bitcoin treasury gold rush?
I would love to, but it's very hard to, because try signing up in any broker in the world. It's impossible to buy. It's impossible to buy stocks without KYC. The only way forward for this to happen, Saurabh, is if we have tokenized stocks. But to have tokenized stocks, you need to have a proper liquidity, because it doesn't make sense to tokenize 1 million worth of tokenized stocks. You need to have a billions of dollars to make it a deep market, so that anybody can participate with a good execution. Because also at the same time, if you come here and buy, but the slippage is 10%, you're not gonna buy it. So unfortunately, for the time being, it's gonna be centralized and KYC. But we would love to. I mean, we are the same as you. We are as Bitcoiners and as crypto people as you. So if there is a way to do this with no KYC, non-custodial, and so on, we're gonna work on it as fast as we can.
Hmm. Yeah. Thanks so much, Borja.
Yeah, pleasure.
Borja, I have questions from Amol. So he's asking when will Roxom go live for retail or people like us? Like you have mentioned about
Perfect.
smarter web, but from India, I think I am using IBKR, but there is no way to invest in a SWC. So I am also in the thing which you mentioned. Like I am just watching it go up, but can't make money through it.
It's sad. Eh? Watching it go up is the worst. That's why we need Roxom ASAP. Look, for the first 4 contracts that we're doing, we're going to be launching in 4 to 6 weeks, and Bitcoin treasury companies, we are going to be launching them sometime in Q3. And we're working on it as fast as possible because we know that the opportunity is now. So we're working very, very fast, very, very aggressively to make it happen as soon as possible. Like you guys, we are also very excited about the opportunity, and also we don't want the crypto world to be, as you just said, we are on the sidelines watching the number go up, and we can't get in, right? That sucks. So we're working as aggressively and as fast as we can to make sure that instead of watching number go up, we are profiting with number go up.
Okay, so Amol again is asking the next question is like, how do Roxom custody the securities slash commodities? So is there any insurance mechanism which is there in IBKR or the other exchanges, traditional fiat exchanges like SEC? Some they insure about 250,000 US dollars. So is there a mechanism with the Roxom also, or it will be different?
Yeah, so we are a licensed broker dealer, and our securities will be like the custody is in the US and is by DTCC. I will have to check the exact number of like the coverage and so on. I don't have that number top of mind. I can share with you guys later. But yeah, we are all the the US equities that you guys buy. Basically, because of how we work, the custodian of our assets is the custodian, like the official custodian in each country. So in the US, it's the DTCC. In the UK, I should check the name, but it's the equivalent of the DTCC, and so on and so forth. So we are not taking custody of the assets ourselves in Seychelles, but we're always delegating custody to the biggest custodian in each country.
Okay. And Amol again is asking, what is the KYC process and what will be the tax implications for traders?
Good. Regarding KYC, normal exchange KYC, like the same KYC you will have to do in Binance level 1, let's say. Like it's not only if you want to trade stocks, it's not only ID. You will do it's ID and a couple of questions. 3 minute, 4 minute KYC is not nothing bad. Even though that I'm anti KYC, like it's okay, it's acceptable. It's not a pain in the ass, basically. I also hate KYC. And the second question was related. Sorry, tax implications.
Yeah.
It depends on you guys. It
Okay.
depends
So it depends on the
like,
country which we live in.
you are responsible for your own tax. We're not going to be
Okay.
withholding and so on. You are responsible for your own reporting.
And one question from me is like, in the US, there are some Bitcoin treasury companies, but the treasury companies which are blowing up currently are from Europe, Japan, or Hong Kong. So, as I know, Roxom currently has only US stocks. So, will Roxom be doing the OTC tickers which these companies have, like SWC has TSWCF?
Anything that is in OTC, we have.
Okay, great. Yeah, that's it. Is it last question from Amol? Is it available for specified investor or retail investors also can invest? I think retailers also can invest, right?
Anybody can invest. Anybody, guys.
Yeah.
This is by Bitcoiners for Bitcoiners. We are all in the same ship, so anybody can invest. And Fine, you can fund it from wherever you want. And this is the beauty of Bitcoin, the beauty of crypto. No need to have a bank account with us. Just deposit crypto and you're in.
Borja, I had one more question. I'm asking it on behalf of Aryaman and Anshu, whom I'm working nearby right now. So, the space that you are in is highly regulated, right? So you have to have all these broking licenses. You have to have like these ability to remit money from one geography to another. Probably that's why you're operating from a different jurisdiction, because these Bitcoin treasury companies are popping up in different parts of the world, and that's the arbitrage. The fact that you can invest in Japanese company and then immediately switch it with a British company is the arbitrage. But like someone who is a software developer and someone who are just AI developers or vibe coding things, what are the immediate agents, or what are the like AI agents that they can code, they can build to make something useful in this gold rush, Bitcoin treasury gold rush. Yeah, again, the question being something which a software developers can develop without having to take care of regulatory arbitrage and all that regulations. Do you have some ideas on that? What could be built?
Look, the first thing is I didn't think about this before, but as you were asking me, I was thinking of, you know how for Solana you have these Solana bots,
I do
like
not know. I do not know.
well, you have like this snipe. So in Solana, there's a lot of people that are doing like these sniper bots that basically they map out, like they are scrapping constantly. And whenever a whale wallet invests in a super small market cap token, like they immediately buy because you have a good signal. Like, hey, big wallet investing in small market cap token, like that's a good opportunity.
Basically,
I would say that today,
Adam back investing into any Bitcoin treasury company.
exactly. And today the alpha is only on Twitter because differently from crypto, where you have DeFi and you can track the wallets and so on. Here we're talking about TradFi. You can track shit. So it's all on Twitter. So if I had to do something, I would do is constantly scrapping new news on Bitcoin treasury companies, and whenever there is a new ticker that hasn't that isn't listed yet, like that is not any of the good, well-known treasury companies, I would immediately check on that. So it's like the new way. Like again, the problem is the following: differently from crypto, you cannot track new tokens being minted, you cannot track wallets, you cannot track nothing. So the problem is, how can you track everything? I think that's a great problem to solve.
Yeah, yeah. Got it. These people are working on reading DRHP documents of IPOs getting public, but they're not focusing on this treasury space. So yeah, probably these ideas will help them figure out and fine tune their products.
Yeah, no, but the thing is also sort of that all of these companies, that like the playbook is to get a already listed, like to do a reverse merger or reverse or SPAC or acquire a SPAC shell. Like it's all through shells. So none of these companies are like going public. They are all acquiring already existing public companies. So which also kind of makes it easier because the filing, like when you do a reverse merger filing, say you have to outline many things, and it's gonna make it even easier to map out because you can let's say scope target reverse mergers and SPAC companies and so on, and see what's the activity there. Yeah,
Got it. Very insightful. Thanks, Borka.
pleasure.
Borka, we have one more question from Fineng. Do you have time or you have to leave?
Last question, and then I have to go.
Okay. So Fineng is asking is like, can we fund whenever Roxom goes live, can we fund the Roxom account with Bitcoin? Because in India there are capital controls. So if we like if we transfer more than 10 lakh or remit more than 10 lakh, we have to give 20% TCS. So if we do this if we buy Bitcoin in India and then fund Roxom's account, so will that work, or still as we are doing KYC, so are we still in that capital control thing?
I love this because we have the same problem in Argentina, and the answer is no, no capital controls. Fuck that. You can do whatever you want. You do KYC, but we are not reporting to Indian authorities.
Oh, great.
That's why I was saying that it's up to you guys. You guys are the ones who will be responsible for filing or disclosing to your own tax agency that you have whatever you have. But actually, on day zero, the only way to deposit will be crypto, like Bitcoin. In the short term, it's not gonna be possible to deposit fiat. Actually, so it's gonna be on launch Bitcoin only. Next step is stable coins and other cryptocurrencies, and fiat is the last step that we have.
Okay. Thanks, Borja. I think we are over our limit. It's 1 hour 20 minutes. Thanks for giving your time and thanks for being here.